NBA mixtape. Start with the rookie, Kobe White for the Bulls. Had a terrible first three quarters, 4 points, and then went nuts in the fourth, sunk 7 threes. That's a Bulls franchise record, finished with 27 Bulls win, Carrie. And Roy Williams was there.
Oh, was he? That's interesting to know. That's what the Rooks did. What about the stuff? Nets at Jazz. Conley Jr., that's Mike Conley Jr., finds Gobert. Denied by that guy there, Jared Allen. Jazz win 119-114. That was called stuffs, David.
This is called dimes. This is Nikola Jokic. Not even looking, just sort of nonchalantly just leaves it there. Hey, you take it. And Monte Morris cleans it up. But we're not done from this game with the dimes, Carrie. How about Trae Young passing to himself? The nutmeg right there.
I've done that before.
Can you do that?
Yeah, it's
that's
not
special.
I mean,
he also had a good Colin Kaepernick tweet. He had 42 points as well.
Oh, okay. In between that. Here we go now. This is the throwdown. Harris to Simmons. Nice. You know what? That's easy. I got it. David, I often lob to you.
You just
Meanwhile,
set me up all the time. It's beautiful.
All the time. What about Drummond? What about this? I heard it. Did you hear it? David, you didn't hear it.
Yeah, it's sort of, kind of an exhale, like, oh.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay, what about my Lakers? Do you not care about this, David?
No,
fine, I'm not with you either
on.
then.
We've seen enough of the Lakers today, right?
No, we haven't, because we're talking about them right now. Anthony Davis with the throwdown. And speaking of the Lakers, I'm joined by former NBA player Kendrick Perkins. Lakers off to a very strong start, 8-2, as we're talking about. We often talk about the chemistry between LeBron and AD. And for you, former player, you know what this means. What makes them so effective together?
Well, look, we're watching greatness right now. We haven't seen a duo like this since Kobe and Shaq.
Ooh.
And when you're looking at these two guys, they complement each other very well. You're watching, the biggest word that comes in my mind is sacrifice. And the chemistry was built in the summertime when you're shooting the Space Jam movie and these guys are around each other. They're not only shooting the movie, they're talking about the season. And when LeBron comes out at the beginning of the season and say, hey, we're going to go through Anthony Davis, that spoke volumes to me, and it speaks volumes to the world that, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice. And when you listen to their press conferences, AD always praises LeBron, and LeBron always praises AD. And the interesting thing about it is that how these two guys have set the tone and bought into Frank Vogel's system defensively, because it's contagious. We know what we're going to get out of LeBron. We know what we're going to get out of AD numbers-wise, right? Okay, but you look at these guys doing the extra things, the little things, taking charges, chase down blocks, diving in the stands for loose balls. That's contagious. And the way these guys are going right now and the way it's set up, hey, man, the chemistry is there. And we're not even 20 games into the season. And God bless America. I feel sorry for the rest of the league.
That reminds me, the relationship reminds me of, as we just talked about it, D. Wade and LeBron, how D. Wade sacrificed to have LeBron. So it's good to see that. And you say the chemistry is contagious. So I appreciate that. Let's talk about your former teammate, though, Rajon Rondo. He's back. He's in the game. That was his first game he played. Obviously, he missed all of the season, but his first game he played, restricted minutes. He did well. He had 7 assists. Talk to me about what pressure he will take off of LeBron since LeBron has been playing point.
Well, I wouldn't say the word pressure, but he takes workload off of LeBron. One thing about it, you add a mastermind, a genius. Rondo is so intelligent, he's so smart. With Rondo being back on the floor, especially when he's on the court with LeBron, now Bron is able to focus on his offense and not making guys better. Now he's able to get in position to go score the basketball. The biggest person that it affected, I think that it affects and who's going to benefit the most from Rondo being back is Kyle Kuzma. And we seen that last night.
Yes.
Because he put Kyle Kuzma in position to be successful without trying too hard. He gets some easy baskets. He gets some wide open looks. And, Rondo is just, he's a playmaker. He's a winner. He's a champion. And so when you have a guy like that getting back off of injury and getting put back into this Laker lineup, is dangerous. It's hard to say, Rachel. This was the test. I was wondering. I knew they had a pretty easy schedule to start off the season, and I watched them, and I wanted to see how they was going to perform going into Denver. And I was like, wow, this team is really impressive. But it started in the preseason. When you watch these guys in the preseason, they were locked in. They were playing defensive. They were defensive-minded. You could tell they were on the mission. And like I always said, they have championship experience over there. So much championship experience. And going back to LeBron and AD, the way that they're playing defense right now, they're feeding off each other. And I think LeBron defense has picked up because Anthony Davis is leading the way defensively, and he's like, oh, I got to carry my load because AD is doing a great job. So right now, I don't see any flaws right now with them because they're so deep. They're so experienced for us championship experience, and the way Rondo been playing, and then you could go to Quinn Cook, and then even like Jared Dudley, he played in the fourth quarter, but he was ready to play.
Yeah.
Like, they remind me of the 08 Celtic team, just how deep they are and just the chemistry
Who was on
and
the
the
08
right
Celtics?
pieces.
Do you remember?
No, that was me.
Him,
That was me.
but also Rajon Rondo, to your point, who's on this team.
And he's playing great basketball right now. I mean, just Danny Green, I just don't see any flaws. Kyle Kuzma, like I always say, is the X factor. When he's focused, he's locked in, and not going outside his body, he's doing
Do you know
great.
what the Jazz's record is while playing a team on the second night? It's not according to stats and information in the last 25 years. It's probably about 510.
Meaning that when they get a team on the second night of a back-to-back, they tend to beat
always
them up.
win. They've been winning in that building since it opened on the second night of back-to-backs when they have the rest advantage. Also, Denver and Utah were both coming off losses, which meant that they were very focused on trying to beat the Lakers. Damn impressive. Not only that, the Lakers had 3 or 4 guys who were sick. Okay, but the question is, do they have any flaws? I think that if they're going to beat the Clippers in a 7-game series, they could use another wing defender because you can't really ask LeBron to play 40 minutes on Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. So I think if they look at this roster, and of course we know what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy like Andre Iguodala. Right. Could they pull this off? Could he get bought out, which the Grizzlies say they won't do? Could they get a guy like that? I think their three-point shooting has been up and down, but they've got a lot of weapons. It's not fatal. I do think that is one thing that they would look for. But all in all, damn impressive Lakers showing to start this season.
It's interesting you bring up a wing defender. So going into this season, I knew they were going to be good with LeBron and AD, but I did have questions about the defense, especially on the perimeter. And I got some pushback of people being like, how could you even ask the question? This wasn't me saying they're going to be bad. This was me just asking the question. What are they going to do there? I have some concerns. And I want you to look at why. So take a look. This is the Lakers players last season. This is their personal defensive efficiency numbers, right? Anthony Davis, obviously on a different team. But these are the main guys they're putting out on the floor, right? So those are the numbers. And when you look at those numbers, you have questions about what kind of defensive team this team is going to be. Now look at this season. We're going to put them side by side here. Look at how much guys have improved.
Look at Alex Caruso.
Look at that.
Pose.
Right? Look at every guy, though. Look at LeBron's improvement in defensive efficiency. Look at Kyle Kuzma. AD, obviously, he's in a much better situation this year. You'd expect those numbers. But down the list, every guy.
Bradley's he's not on that list, but Avery Bradley's also been.
This to me speaks to those questions coming in were about what defense is about, Perk, right? What is your commitment? What is your effort? Some of it is, can you physically defend? Are your arms long enough? Do you know where you're supposed to be? But so much of defense is want to. Yeah. And we saw this team, these players, not put that effort in all the time last season. And there was a question if they got off to a rough start, if they just maybe aged out and they couldn't do it anymore. And guess what? They have bought in, and I really do think LeBron is a big reason for that. He has not committed to defense this way in years. And him deciding to do that changed the equation.
LeBron's been on
example.
maybe 4 or 5 teams that have 58 wins or more, a couple of 60-win teams. I don't know if I've ever seen him on a team that has looked this good in the first 20 games because historically he gets off to he sort of warms up. And that has not been what he's done this year.
Well, to follow up on your point, Rachel, last year they were playing for nothing, okay? Once Braun got hurt, their chances on making the playoffs, so really nobody was focused. When you coming in and championship, winning the ring is on your mind, of course, guys is going to lock in. Yeah. You know, guys are going to lock in, guys are going to be focused, and you're playing for something different. Last year was just like, oh, okay, let's just get through the season.
But they weren't playing for nothing, Perk, until the end. LeBron came back from the injury. He missed about a quarter of the season. That was a huge blow for them because they had been in fourth when he went out, and they obviously were much further. But they were playing for a playoff berth. They were fighting for that. Remember, LeBron said, I'm going to lock in now, and I'm going into playoff mode early. And if they had gotten into the playoffs, which he fully expected, and the Lakers told us at that point in the season when he came back they were going to do, he expected to get into the tournament and go be LeBron. And that didn't happen. And the fact that it's happening now, to me, says something good about them. That's something we should celebrate.
Yeah, but also, Rach, you got to understand, too, the second part of the season when LeBron came back, they had a tough schedule. And I think they had to win like 19 out of the 24 games, which was crazy. And they had a hard schedule. So, yeah, they're going to say the right thing. Right. They're going to tell the world the right things. But in their mind, or in their heart, do they really feel that way? No, I don't think they did. I don't think Braun was all the way committed. And we also got to give a lot of credit to Frank Vogel and his coaching staff because, you know, Frank Vogel, although he didn't have a good stance when he was in Orlando, but he had those Pacers rocking defensively. So for him to have AD and LeBron buying into his system and what he's doing is also amazing, too. And you got to give kudos to him and his coaching staff.
Absolutely, 100%.